The minute I start talking about how you do Plan B, many people think to themselves, aha, so this is what I do just as things are starting to get hot yet again. I would call that very bad timing. Not only would I call it bad timing, I would call it emergency B. And while emergency B is there as an option, it is better thought of as a crisis management option. My attitude is we got lots of crisis management programs floating around out there. Programs that teach us what to do once it's ugly. Plan B, emergency Plan B is something you can do once it gets ugly again. It takes place when an unsolved problem has set in motion maladaptive behavior yet again. What does he mean, yet again? Well, since challenging behaviors are highly predictable, one question that's always bouncing around in my head is, what are you waiting for? If you knew this was coming 3 days ago, why did you wait, for example, until homework time to try to solve the homework problem? Why did we wait until the kid was in our class with 25 other kids trying to get down to work before we tried to figure out why he was having difficulty getting down to work? Why did we wait? The form of Plan B that's far preferable is proactive Plan B. Proactive Plan B takes place way before an unsolved problem sets maladaptive behavior in motion again. Collaborative problem solving is much better thought of as a crisis prevention mentality, not a crisis management mentality. It's fine to know what to do once a student becomes assaultive and destructive, but it's far more important to know what to do so he doesn't become assaultive and destructive in the first place. All right, here's the most important information of the afternoon, the 3 steps for doing Plan B. And whenever I start talking about the 3 steps, I tell people I have regrets. Regrets that I organize these as steps. Actually, I have mixed feelings about calling them steps. I like having called them steps because steps make it easier for people to do. I don't like calling them steps because it makes it sound very technique-y. So I personally these days would rather talk about ingredients instead of steps. But here's your 3 steps if steps help you. First step is empathy. Second step is define the problem. Third step, the invitation. I don't even like what I called the steps. The reason I don't like that I call the empathy step is because empathy, while I am the first to say that challenging kids are deserving of our empathy, empathy is actually not the main ingredient of the empathy step. I don't have any idea what define the problem means, and no one else does either. And calling something an invitation is about as technique-y as it gets. So let me talk about ingredients instead. What's the main ingredient of the empathy step? Information gathering. The goal of the empathy step is to gather information from the kid so as to understand his concern or perspective on the unsolved problem that we are trying to talk to him about right now. Information gathering so that we can understand is the main ingredient of the empathy step. What's the main ingredient of the define the problem step? Well, it's the define the problem step where the adult or the other party gets their concern or perspective on the table. And what's the main ingredient of the invitation? I wished I'd have called it the brainstorming step. This is where we're brainstorming solutions, but a certain type of solutions. Solutions that will address the concerns of both parties that we have now explicitly laid out on the table in our first 2 steps. Because I am so intent on having people do proactive B, I'm not talking about emergency B. I'm talking about proactive B. The empathy step of proactive Plan B begins with a neutral observation. And these days I've been trying to be much more explicit about what words people should use. The words I usually use and encourage other people to use is, I've noticed that. And then what you're doing is you're plucking a problem from your list of unsolved problems and you're dropping it in and then finishing with, what's up? Here's what it might sound like. I've noticed you haven't been too enthusiastic about taking your meds lately. What's up? I've noticed it's been really hard for you to get going on your social studies project lately. What's up? I've noticed you haven't been too enthusiastic about sitting next to Billy in circle time lately. What's up? I've noticed you haven't been too crazy about going to school lately. What's up? I've noticed whenever you and your brother play together lately, it turns into a fight. What's up? I've noticed bedtime's hard for us lately. What's up? I've noticed we've been struggling a lot about homework lately. What's up? See? You've got this list of unsolved problems. There was actually a reason that you would want to create that. You're plucking. You're saying what you've noticed. You are plucking an unsolved problem. You are dropping it in, and then you're saying what's up. Now, the key to this observation is that it be neutral. Neutral is the key word. So in other words, you're not saying something along the lines of, I've noticed you're trying to ruin my life. What's up? I've noticed you don't care about your homework anymore. What's up? I've noticed you don't care if you get cavities. What's up? I've noticed you don't care if you do bad in school. What's up? I've noticed you're trying to disrupt my class. What's up? Not neutral. And what's the downside to not neutral? Well, there's a lot of downsides to not neutral, but the biggest downside to not neutral is that it's going to shut the kid up. Not neutral shuts the kid up. And the goal of the empathy step is to get the kid talking. Because if you shut him up and he's not talking, then you are not gathering information. And if you're not gathering information, then you will not know what his concern or perspective is on the problem you would very much like to be solving with him, so it doesn't cause challenging behavior anymore. Does this make sense? The goal of the empathy step is to get the kid talking. Neutrality is crucial. Now, life gets interesting the minute you say, what's up? The minute you say, what's up, you're not done with the empathy step yet. You're just getting started. Because now something's going to happen. He's either going to say something or he's not going to say something. Let's talk about him not saying something for a second. He may just sit there. That's called silence. Many adults get freaked out about silence. Many adults are so ecstatic that they have now done the empathy step that silence blows them out of the water. The air just went out of their Plan B balloon, when in fact, since you never asked him about this before, the information may not exactly be on the tip of his tongue, which means you may have to be quiet. I'm working with this kindergarten kid. I actually don't know him. When I arrived to do Plan B with him, it's part of a school project that I'm working in Massachusetts, where I come in and do Plan B with a kid with his teacher so that the teacher can learn how to do Plan B. But I never met the kid, so when I come in and do this, they tell me what I'm going to be doing Plan B with him about. I was told, I'd like you to talk to him about how he has trouble keeping his hands to himself. So I said, I've heard, I couldn't say I've noticed that because I'm not his teacher, I've heard that you sometimes have trouble keeping your hands to yourself. What's up? And there we sat. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Now I'm watching carefully for the nonverbal cues. There's the nonverbal cue that says, there's the facial expression that says, I can't even remember what question you asked. It sort of looks like this. There's the nonverbal cue, I've never met you before in my life, I'm not talking to you. It looks like this. And there's the nonverbal cue, I'm thinking. That looks like this. It looked to me like he was thinking. After 30 seconds, I actually said that. I said, boy, you're really thinking, aren't you? And he went, 10 more seconds, 20 more seconds. Finally, he says, I only have trouble keeping my hands to myself when I'm with certain kids. Nice. He's talking. We're getting a little further, aren't we? What was my next question? Really? Which kids? And now I'm drilling. But before I could drill, which is what I'm about to talk about, I had to be quiet enough so the kid could talk. The other thing that people think blows Plan B out of the water is when the kid isn't silent, but instead says, I don't know. People freak over I don't know. I don't know is honest. I'd rather actually have the kid say he doesn't know than make something up just for the sake of it. Making something up for the sake of it takes more time than I don't know. I'd rather have him say, I don't know. And all I don't know means is that we've got a little more exploring to do. Don't get freaked out over I don't know. Let's say he does say something. Your next goal is to drill, because the first thing he says is unlikely to be the total picture, which means you are now on the hook for drilling. Drilling for information. I'll give you an example of drilling, a true story. This one took place with me sitting next to a teacher for security, but her doing Plan B all on her own. She just wanted me there just in case. She's sitting with a kid. Here's how it sounded. I've noticed we haven't seen much homework coming in for you lately. What's up? It's too hard. At each point along the way, what I'd like you to ask yourself is, do I yet understand? It's too hard. Do you yet understand? No. Start drilling. It's too hard. How's it too hard? It's too much. Do you yet understand? No. Keep drilling. It's too much. What part is too much? The writing part is too much. Ah, the writing part is too much. Do you yet understand? No. What about the writing part is too much? I don't know. Well, let's think about what homework you have, and then maybe we can figure out what part of it is the writing part that's too hard and too much. What type of writing assignments do you have for homework? Let's think about that. Well, I have spelling, but all I got to do is write one word. That's not it. What else do you have? Well, in social studies, all I got to do is draw a line from one word to another. That's not it. Okay. What else do you have? Science. What about science? You're making us write entire paragraphs. Yes, I am. Is that the part that's too hard and too much? Yes.